Hi, this is Mike and Lori with Hamburg Honey. We are opening hives today. It is 45 degrees, March 26, 2023. We have some dead outs, so today we are taking the honey out of the dead outs. A few of them died, and we're giving it to the hives that need honey right now because there's no food. If you look at our pond, we've still got a foot of snow, and the pussy willows haven't started blooming out yet. Nothing has nectar. So today we are feeding the bees. We are going to feed them Hive Alive. It has a lot of essential oils and stuff in there that helps boost their immune system for the spring. And then these are called global patties. This is pollen patties, which we'll give them to initiate brood expansion and start the babies getting laid. Queen will start laying eggs once the pollen's introduced to the hive. So now I'll take the camera and Mike is going to start opening hives and feeding them.
All right, I'll just start here with this 5-frame nuke. And I'm choosing this one because I know a mouse moved into this one and I want to show you what the mice can actually do. The bees are alive in there. So I'll remove the mouse, hopefully
get on the other side of you.
Hopefully with my hive tool, and then I will check their stores and I will give them some pollen patties to get them started. So this is just a little insulation box we put on top of the hives in the winter, and then we put some sugar board on the inside of it so the bees can eat. And as you see, a mouse made a nest up in the sugar, and it actually doesn't look like it's in there anymore. I have a feeling maybe the bees stung it a couple of times and scared it off. So as you can see, the bees really haven't eaten too much of the sugar board, and it's a fairly small cluster in there. So I will check it, make sure that they still have honey stores. If they don't, I'll give them a frame of that honey. I'll start with this frame here because I know it's away from the bees. I won't roll any if I pick it up. And it feels pretty darn light. There's a tiny bit of food stores right here in the corner. Not much though. It's not gonna take this hive through till the nectar flows start. I'll check the outside frame. Yep, that one's empty. And as you can see, the mice, they chew that insulation up into little tiny pieces, and then it gets in the hive. We'll have to clean that out once it gets a little warmer.
The bees will also clean once it gets warmer. They'll carry all that stuff out of there and they'll sanitize and clean their hive.
There's our queen right there, right in the center. You can see her. Looks like she's laying a few eggs. She looks good, but there's not a lot of food. So
it's one pretty queen.
I'm gonna boost this little hive with 2 of our frames of honey over here. So they will have plenty to eat.
So we put the honey frames to the outside because that's just the order the bees themselves place it in when they make it. The brood will always stay to the center because they can keep it warmer in the center than on the edges.
And I'll take off some of this old sugar. And I'm going to put this pollen patty right on top of these bees so they have access to it directly to their brood. That'll get them jump started really well. Then I'll also give them a little bit of Hive Alive. I have one here cut in half already. I'll just cut the plastic so they have better access to it. I'm actually going to have to cut it a little smaller. It won't quite fit. And that'll set this hive up so they can really start raising a lot of brood. And this hive will be 2 to 3 times this size in about a month when everything starts to bloom. So I'll set this. Actually, that might put too much pressure on there. I'm actually going to take some of this sugar block out. So it doesn't put so much downward pressure on the bees where the pollen patty is.
And they'll still continue to eat the sugar if they, want. There's essential oils in that fondant that we make for them.
And this hive is now set for the next month. Should be a raging colony here in a month or so. Okay, so moving on to our larger hives here. We're going to do the same thing. We'll open them up, take a look, see how much food they have, and then we'll give them a pollen patty and some Hive Alive and some frames of honey if they need
They
it.
still have some Hive Alive.
Oh wow, this is a
Oh, look at
really
the
big
cluster.
cluster up on the
So this is a cluster.
styrofoam yet.
Wow.
Looks good. They're really eating a lot of this sugar. I'm going to take a little bit of it out. And they still have some Hive Alive left.
Yeah, they ate it all on the inside there.
And I'm removing this so that I can check and see if they still have some honey available. I'm going to go ahead and set this right here.
That is a nice cluster. I don't think the queen is in that. Do you want some smoke?
And this
A lot of
frame is
propolis.
really wedged in here. And I can actually see that this entire frame is honey, capped honey yet. So they have plenty of food stores. But I will give them pollen patty. So they can start rearing their brood. Get some of this stuff out of the way.
They're
Put it
mesmerizing.
right on the cluster. So they have direct access to it. And they don't really need this extra section of Hive Alive. We've got honey and sugar stored. And we'll get this back on so they can get back up to a good temperature before the evening.
Ooh. I want to see the poo hive.
You can skip around and do that one next if you want, that's fine.
I have bees all over me.
That one's sealed back up and ready. And we can skip ahead to this
Tar
one.
paper melted onto the hive a little.
Give them some smoke. And this hive is even
Ooh, they're
Building
making
some-
comb where they have their
comb up into it.
cluster. Wow, this is a super hive. This is the poo hive.
So we
Look,
will
they even put honey into that. They made burr comb on the top.
we'll remove some of this extra sugar. Let's make room for a pollen patty. And I can look down in here and see that there's capped honey on some of these.
Do you want that off?
No, that can stay actually. You want to hold this and I'll grab a pollen patty?
Yeah. That is really cool. Especially this early in the year. That's brand new comb.
All right, you put that on there. They start eating that right away, feeding it to their brood. It'll kickstart the queen. All righty, that one's ready
Let's
to
do
go
one
as
of
well.
these so we can.
Okay, and then we'll go down here and we'll do one of our BMAX hives. And this is another one of those colonies right here that were very small, very small in the fall. And we split this one as well, so that there is just...
There's 2 hives in here, 2 separate queens, 2 separate hives. We split the whole hive into 2, so it's too high though.
So, both of these hives had only 3 frames of honey in the top. So these hives made it through the entire winter, basically with 21 pounds of honey. So,
And fondant.
I will take a look at these, see if they have honey stores. If they don't, I'll give them a frame of our honey. And get them kick-started for the spring as well.
You want to hand me the smoker when you put that
Sure.
back?
Be very careful pulling this one out. There's bees on both sides, so it's possible that I have a small patch
I have
of
a
honey
small
left on this
patch.
one. And let's take a look at this. Small patch of honey here as well. And check for the queen here. And she's not on here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this frame, knock the bees off, and put in one of the full frames of honey for them. Because this is maybe a pound of honey.
Do you want one?
So,
Mike.
I'll go down and grab one of the full
Before you put that in, do you want to see if we could find the queen on that
You can take a look.
hive?
It's warm enough today. So I've got a full frame of honey. It's got at least 7 pounds on there. So that'll put them through the rest of the winter. And I'll check, see if maybe we can see the queen here.
Oh, queen!
Oh, there she is. She has the blue mark. That's one of the ones
Let me see.
we
Should I
raised
get her?
last
Yep,
year.
there she is. Isn't
I don't see any brood yet, which is normal. But I will put this down in here, and we'll give them
that's Guinevere?
we will give them half a frame of, or half a package of.
So
Pollen
we
patty?
had, when we bred queens, we had brought one of the baby queens into the house in the observation hive, and we got to watch her hatch, and that's Guinevere.
Alright. So this hive is going to get half of a pollen patty. And they have plenty of honey with that frame I put in there. So I'm not going to put any hive alive on there. They have plenty of food. But this will get their brood rearing kick-started. And she'll start laying in there right away. So this is the divider. It goes all the way down through to the bottom. So this right here is the actual separate hive. So I'll again take out the outside frame.
Man, I can smell honey. Must have punctured open.
Well, hopefully the bears coming out of hibernation don't smell it as well.
Well, they're mostly after the brood anyway,
All
so.
right, there is a lot of bees on here, but
Once again, no
not
honey.
much of any food.
Yeah.
tiny little patch on the side right there.
So when bees make it through winter on their honey, they could die in spring because that's when they'll start running out because nectar hasn't started to flow yet.
And when they start to lay their brood, their honey consumption goes up about 3 times because they need to keep their nest warmer. They need to keep it at least 90 degrees to keep those brood alive. So I have a frame of honey here, and we will actually double check for the queen in this one as well. Now there's a lot of bees.
Well, they have been mass producing in this hive. This hive looks bigger now than it did in the fall when we put it down.
Maybe.
Both of them.
All the frames down to the
Check the
bottom are
next
full
one.
as well.
Yeah.
So
The queen could very well be in the bottom of the bottom box, for all we know.
oh, there's the queen right on the right-hand side of
Ah,
the frame.
with the blue dot.
She looks good.
Get a little closer to there she is. So yeah,
So-
two blue queens.
I will get these back in here, give them a frame of honey, give them pollen patties on the top, and she'll start laying right away. The flow of maple nectar will probably start within about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then right about the same time the willows will start blooming and give them a good shot of pollen, but they need pollen to start rearing brood. So we give them some pollen patty and she'll start laying within a couple of days. Alright. And we'll button this one up, give them back this little bit of hive alive. We can have that. Now these two hives in this box, these hives are both big enough that probably within 3 to 4 weeks we're going to have to take both of these hives out of here and give them their own 10 frame box. So we will,
Which this time of year is okay.
yeah, that's
It'll
good.
be warm
That's
enough.
Good. That's good. Let's check one of them that had just 6 full frames of bees and 6 full frames of honey. See how they're doing.
Another B-Max hive.
There's quite a few bees in there. Take a look, see how their
Oh my goodness.
honey stores are doing.
They're
They
marking
need
me.
some honey. And this is what happens to Hive Alive. When it gets nice and warm in there, it really starts to melt.
These styrofoam hives stayed pretty warm. We opened them on a warm day in winter, and they weren't even bees weren't even in cluster. They were walking around like it was a normal summer sunny day. So these styrofoam hives it was our first year trying them, they do stay warm through the winter. And that is an empty frame. They ate almost
They have some.
they have a little left.
A little bit of nectar over here, and a little bit of honey. We'll check this next one. I have a feeling it's probably empty. Oh, it's got some weight.
It's got
to
some
it.
weight to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's got
Oh, they got plenty of honey
a
in
good
this
amount
hive.
of capped honey on this side. So what I'll do is I'll flip this around. Keep checking here, see if we can't see the queen. There's a good
Wow.
amount of weight on this one. The back side is pretty
This-
near empty.
This looks like a summer
This side
sunny
looks
day
nice.
hive. They are just working, cleaning cells and getting ready for brood.
All right. check the next frame, see if the queen is on that one. There's quite a bit of weight to this one as well.
Wow, there's a
Oh,
queen.
There's our queen, blue dot.
Let me see if I can get her. Well, she's being elusive.
cells.
Yeah.
Make some room here, see if I can see if she's...
So we
Oh,
will
and
be
there is eggs in there.
babies. We will be taking the queens from these winter hives that survived, and we will be making queens, breeding queens with those surviving queens' eggs. That's what we'll be grafting queens out of, is the hives that did so well over winter.
So this hive has plenty of food stores left for honey, but doesn't look like they have much pollen in their frames, so I'm going to give this one a full sheet.
There you go.
No. Give me a full sheet. This is just partial.
Okay.
They'll have this full sheet. The size of this hive, they'll have a full sheet gone in about a week or so.
And these are the global pollen patties. So they have a lot more protein in them than the patties we give them going into winter.
All right, we are going to continue working on all the hives. We went through all the hives and we checked. We had a 77% survival rate for this year, which is fairly decent. We generally average between 75 and 90, so it's an average year. But the only worrying part is we still have 12 to 15 inches of snow. It's nearly April. We haven't had any 50-degree days yet, so hopefully we'll have a nice warm spring, and these hives will be probably ready to be split by the beginning of May. So have fun looking at your hives, and we'll see you later.